Yeah, definitely. Okay, cool. I think, yeah, I mean, we're already 5 minutes or past 6:30, so I think Stella, we both them, so I think we can
Yes.
get started. Already have 35 people in here, and yeah, so hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in tonight. We are so happy that the topic of working remotely and how you can move your home office to the sun attracted so many of you. And yeah, tonight we're going to be taking you through all the information you need to learn how to take the perfect vacation and to find the perfect co-working partners to join along. And yeah, my name is Anna. You might have seen my face somewhere on the website or social media profiles or in any of the many webinars we have been doing. Yeah, in the JoinMyTrip team, I'm responsible for the partnership management. And with me today is my beloved co-host, Stella.
Yeah, hi again, everyone. I'm Stella. I've been with JoinMyTrip a little over a year now, and I'm responsible for our emails and ensuring a fantastic customer experience for you. And I'm super excited to be here today.
Yeah, so am I. And yeah, there's so many people around here from around the world. And yeah, maybe I think some of you already said hello in the chat. So feel free to share where you're from. It's always nice to see, yeah, the whole international community joining our webinars. Yeah.
So yeah, just for the beginning, we have, let's call them some house rules that we would like you to keep in mind. But during the webinar, please stay muted at all times. If you are not sure how to do that, you can find the button in the bottom or the top wherever your handlebar is in Zoom. Also, we'd like to remind you to use the chat respectfully. If you use the chat, you can post your questions in there, and we try to answer them during the webinar. If we don't, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And last but not least, if you have something to react to or you want to share your feelings, use the react buttons in Zoom. You can find them also in the handlebar in the bottom middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, Stella, let's try this right now. Are you guys looking forward to this webinar? Oh, yeah, I see some reaction. Woo! Good vibes. Nice. So cool. Yeah, so for the ones that are new with us, we'd like to introduce you first a bit to JoinMyTrip, who we are and why we're putting on this webinar. So yeah, maybe you guys know that feeling. Yeah, you really want to go to that specific destination. You have that amazing trip in mind. And then you ask your friends and family, or maybe your colleagues, and then they're like, nah, I don't have money, I don't have time, I don't want to go to this destination, or maybe I don't like the travel style that you're planning to travel. Yeah, what happens in the end? You're not joining and you're not going at all. And this is something we said, okay, this cannot happen. And yeah, we realized that so many people are facing this challenge. And this is why we created the platform JoinMyTrip.
And currently, our community is 140,000 and counting members strong and growing and representing the biggest, community of like-minded travelers all around the world.
It's so cool how the community grew over the last years that I like, wow. Maybe you want to explain a bit more about how JoinMyTrip works?
Sure. So JoinMyTrip is basically traveling with friends you haven't met yet. There are trip leaders and trip mates, which we connect. Trip leaders are the ones organizing the trip and planning the trip, while they publish their trip plans, and interested trip mates then can request to join on our platform. That means as a trip leader, you can actually earn money while traveling. Trip leaders and trip mates get to know each other, and then they can decide if they want to travel together and when they will travel together. So yeah, they can share travel costs, amazing memories, and just the adventure of their lifetime. And if you like to learn more about how JoinMyTrip works and want to see some first trips maybe, you can check them out on our website, for which you'll get the link right now in the chat. Now you're probably asking yourself, okay, what's got that to do with co-working? Like, what's this whole thing about? Anna, maybe do you want to explain our listeners a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So even before Corona, the Join My Trip team was able to work remotely for a certain period of time per year. So when I did my first remote work trip, I was like, okay, wait, how am I gonna like do all this? How I'm gonna organize this, where I'm gonna live, how I'm gonna get connected to the community and the destination. And then I was like, okay, wait, Anna, I'm working for a platform where you can find travel buddies. So why don't you just find yourself some co-working buddies on the platform? Ta-da! And this was when the co-working trips were born. So I did my first trip with JoinMyTrip, the first co-working trip in September last year. And since then, I would say the remote travel bug had caught me.
Definitely. I mean, like, I feel like you've been more on co-working trips than you've been in Germany, haven't you?
Maybe.
But yeah, for all of you who don't know what co-working is and what we've been talking about these last 10 minutes, co-working basically means sharing and your living and working space with other professionals while you go out and explore the surroundings and your travel destination after work together. Especially during the pandemic, more and more people have the chance of working remotely, so working outside of an office and somewhere else in the world, which also is the beauty of co-working, because it can actually happen anywhere in the world, just where you want, basically. And Anna, I guess working outside of an office is kind of a life insight you have right now, don't you?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm currently on Gran Canaria on a co-working trip already since for 3 weeks already, sharing a really nice big villa with other 6 other co-working buddies and co-workers, and it's just amazing. We're having a really good time working together, exploring the islands, cooking together, sharing our knowledge and skills. And if you would like to learn a bit more about how our remote co-working life looks like on Gran Canaria, just feel free to follow either Join My Trip or also, if you want, my personal account, Travel Buddy Anna on Instagram. And then you have a few more insights. So now I'm actually curious. Maybe you want to show in your reactions who of you would like to work in a place like this? Oh yeah, I can see many of you. Yeah, I mean, I can only tell you the opportunity to work remotely really, really changed my life. It might sound a bit cheesy now, but it definitely is true. And for me, it opened up so many opportunities, and also for many of my coworkers that already joined my trips. It's basically a new life that we created, and it's just I think now it's time to just dive a bit deeper into the topic of co-working. And Stella, why don't you just give a quick overview about today's topic?
Sure, with pleasure. Today, our first topic will be the benefits of co-working, followed by how to actually plan a co-working trip. Then we also want to highlight how to find the perfect co-working buddies for the best destinations for co-working. And at the end, we want to give you some special insider tips. So yeah, Anna, let's start off with the first topic, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So after facing the same walls every day, a change of scenery is always a good idea. Being able to combine traveling with working is just super, super motivating. I mean, imagine getting up in the morning for a run in the sun, doing your workout with your co-working buddies, or have a swim in your own swimming pool, and then just do your work, have a lunch break in the sun, and then after work you can watch the sunset at the beach or just hang out in your apartment, the warm balcony. It's just motivates you a lot, and it's just amazing.
I can imagine. I mean, I've only seen your photos and videos, and it's just dreamy.
Yeah, Stella, I keep telling you, you just need to join. Definitely. I hope
Sounds like that, yeah.
But I mean, it's not only the motivation, but also being surrounded by basically new colleagues, by your coworkers, also gives you a new perspective, and it boosts in creativity and productivity, and especially also innovative thinking. You will get inspired with new ideas and definitely grow as a person. We do have a lot of deep talks here in my group. We laugh a lot. We share so many experiences, and especially after you might have seen the same faces, same friends, same family members for a long time, just due to the lockdown. Like these new people just inspire you a lot.
That sounds so incredible. I mean, literally working together with you shows me how creative you are. I mean, you've been creative before, but also like you having this much fun after work is just it really seems amazing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I've already, yeah, I think another thing that is also really important, I think, is actually maybe even more like motivating for me than the first two, is just the networking and the skill sharing. For me, like being surrounded by the other coworkers that all know like an experts in different topics and maybe work in the same department, you can just share your knowledge and teach the other one something that they might not know. For example, I usually give like a small Instagram workshop where I show them some tips and tricks that I have been learning through the past years, and then we have a coach here in my group at the moment that is giving us some group coachings, which is also really inspiring. So this is something that you grow as a person and you learn so much. And on the same side, you're just so motivated. So yeah, it's a lot of benefits, as you can see.
Wow. And I mean, I guess these are just some of the benefits that you experience. So I guess, Anna, now that we've shown our listeners why they should go on a co-working trip, let's maybe talk about how they could plan a co-working trip.
Of course. Yeah, so I've already organized and joined various co-working trips as a trip mate, but also as a trip leader. I've organized a bit more, and so I would like to give you guys a bit of an idea of the how-to of planning your very own co-working trip, because it is definitely a bit different from a normal trip, and this is what I will show you now. So, I mean, basically, just for the basics to get started, all you need to do is go to joinmytrip.com, create a profile, click on create a trip, and pick the dates that you want to do your trip. You can either pick fixed dates, but if you're not sure yet, just pick flexible date range, and then you can continue with with designing your trip. And all you need to do is pick a creative name for your trip, and then just add a description about what your plan is, what you want to do, and most important, add some nice stops to your trip. For a co-working trip, you usually have one main stop because this is where you're going to live, usually apartment, villa, house, whatever you're going to come up with. And what I usually do then to just make the trip a bit more appealing, a bit more looking nice, I add a few other stops of possible places for an excursion after work or for just some excursions on the weekends. And yeah, most important for this, pick inspiring pictures. That always helps a lot to make your trip even more attractive. Then all you need to do is just calculate your trip costs. And then when you're done editing, our team will review out your trip.
And once it is reviewed, we publish it on our website. After that, you'll receive your very own trip link that you can share in your network. Interested trip mates can then request to join, and you get to know each other with our chat. When you decide to travel together, you can officially accept the trip mate on our platform. So you know everything will be displayed on our platform and in your trip.
Yeah, and the trip mate then pays the trip costs for the accommodation and the transportation in the destination via the platform with our secure payment system, Stripe. Some of you might know that payment system. That way, you make sure that the trip mate is committed, and the same goes for the trip mate. The trip mate always also knows that the trip leader is committed, and that it's not like, hey, I booked a co-working trip, and then you arrive and there's not even a villa or whatever. And this is how you can prevent that this is going to happen. But that's not everything, right, Stella?
Not at all, actually. Speaking of security, we cover all our German and Austrian tourists at the moment because we are also planning to do that for all international travelers with our free JoinMyTrip insurance, which is powered by Allianz Travel. I mean, especially in these special times, it is super important to be insured and secured, especially during traveling. Anna, I think there's one last thing to take into account, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this is the most important. One thing I realized during my last trips, and I think you guys all have experienced the same. It doesn't matter where you are. It really, really matters who you are with. It's so important to make sure you have the right people on board, the right coworkers. So let me give you, some tips and tricks about this. But this would, just be too much for this webinar tonight. This is why I have a separate webinar that is just focusing on how to find the perfect trip mates quickly and easily. You can. We will share the link to the webinar where you can sign up in the email that you will get after the webinar, but also you will find it on our event page from JoinMyTrip, and then you can sign up. The next one is going to happen in a month because the last one was yesterday, but we will also publish it on YouTube. I think next week or the week after. So just check in there. You might see it, so you don't have to wait until May 6th.
I mean, now that you people have an idea of why and how to plan a co-working trip, we also want to show you where to go. Like, what's the best pick for a co-working destination?
And what a surprise! The first destination we can recommend for co-working are the Canary Islands. I mean, beautiful beaches, perfect conditions for sailing, for kiting, or like wind or kite surfing, and also for hiking. And especially what I like most about it on Gran Canaria and on Tenerife, you have a huge community of other co-workers, remote workers, and so that you also have a lot of co-working spaces and co-living spaces or areas. And of course, the most important, that you have great weather conditions almost all year long. So even in winter, it is quite warm here in Canada. I mean, it's not winter anymore, but on the Canary Islands, I think we have like 26 degrees usually. And especially after receiving all the videos from my colleagues, like of snow on their balconies and in their garden of like -2 degrees or something. I can only say I'm really happy that I'm currently not in Germany. But I think, Sarah, there are even more destinations, right?
Yes, warm destinations as well that I can only dream of right now. So the next one for us would be Greece, which is such a great co-working destination in Europe, especially because of the after-work activities that you can do. You can go hiking, you can chill at the beaches, and of course, Greece is very known for their historical sites, so definitely go there for that. It's very easy to travel to. You can go island hopping, and there are several like flights and ferries that you can take from the country to the island, so very easy. And also in the various cities, the nightlife is just amazing.
Yeah, that sounds really, really promising. Don't we have a co-working trip to Greece online at the moment?
Actually, we do. It's by our trip leader, Lina. She's hosting a lovely 2-week co-working trip on that Greek island of Crete. You'll have a beautiful working environment and opportunities in your free time to explore the island or go for boat trips or even discover other Greek islands like Mykonos or Santorini. As you can see, the trip departs soon on April 18th and is going until May 19th. So definitely something you should check out in the chat right now. Yeah, and if you're interested in finding out more about Greece, we also have another webinar for that. It's called the Travel Inspiration Greece webinar. It will be held on May 5th. It's a Wednesday. And we, as you can see, there are different time zones to take into account. So definitely something to check out if you're into Greece. But Anna, I guess there's also another destination that you specifically wanted to highlight. I can remember because there's a special personal story to that, right?
Oh yes. And actually, Madeira is the next destination I want to show you guys. In January, I actually spent 3 weeks co-working on this beautiful island. Hasn't really been on my radar for a long time, but since it was one of the last countries that was open in Europe, I decided to go there. And Madeira belongs to Portugal and is actually the first island that offers an official village for digital nomads, located in Puente del Sol in the south of Madeira. And I can only tell you guys, the island is so diverse. Like sometimes I thought I'm in New Zealand. 5 minutes later, I thought, oh, I'm in Scotland. And then on the other day, I thought, oh, I'm in Indonesia walking around, banana trees. So it's just super, super diverse. And there's a lot of things you can do besides, of course, working productively in your home office. Like, for example, hiking and surfing and whale watching. And one other good thing is that at the moment in Portugal, the numbers are going down a lot. They open up. I think also the RKI took it from the risk area list. And so especially also Madeira, the numbers are going down, which makes it a really, really safe destination to travel to. And the only thing you need at the moment to enter is just a PCR test, obviously a negative one. And then you can enter and have a good time.
I mean, that really sounds incredible. I definitely want to go there, hopefully this year, because I also really love hiking. But one question, like, where did you stay there?
Yeah, I actually joined the home office trip of our trip leader Fabian. He's an absolute Madeira expert. He has done a lot of hiking trips in the last year actually, And now he has rented a whole villa for a whole year and is offering co-working trips basically every week. Yeah, and so if you guys are interested in co-working on Madeira, I can highly recommend you to join Fabian in his co-working villa. Yeah, it's perfect conditions. They have a desk in every room, really fast Wi-Fi, a lot of space, a dog that you can pet. So that's a really, really good place to go.
Nice. I mean, I remember seeing your videos and pictures, like for every other trip that you take, always these nice pictures and videos. I mean, don't you maybe want to share them with our listeners?
Yeah, I prepared a little bit, just some pictures for you to see how Home Office on Madeira looks like. You can also check out their Instagram channels, Madeira mit Freunden or Home Office Madeira, where you have some more insights. Yeah, we had a good time, especially the little dog Lotus that is always like coming to you to cuddle you in the morning when you wake up before you start working is something that definitely motivates you even more to get work done and to work productively.
Nice. That really sounds like a dream. I mean, if you don't want to stay or go to Europe, there are also so many other great locations. For us, definitely Costa Rica is on that list because of like the volcanoes, beaches, rainforests. This country is just amazing to travel to. Also, at the moment, regarding traveling, they have very low restrictions. If you come by air, so by plane, you basically don't need anything. There's no quarantine, no test that you have to take. You can obviously also enter by other ways, like sailing, for example. There are some adventurers out there who love sailing. So if you can prove that you've been on the water without a stopover for 14 days, you can also enter however you like.
Sounds so easy.
You just have to make sure that you can prove that somehow.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to Costa Rica for my next co-working trip.
You should, because I mean, the weather is just amazing because of the tropical weather. So why not go there? Yeah. So just if you want to go there, you should definitely join our trip leader, Raphael, who has a really interesting trip plan, but it's very, very adventurous.
Yeah, I mean, I would call myself adventurous, so I think, yeah, I would go.
The whole JoinMyTrip team would call you adventurous. Yes. So yeah, the trip is at the moment hosted at a tropical station within the Costa Rican rainforest. Yeah, as you can see, trip leader Raphael is there for a very long time, so you can join him from April to October, and just, you know, in your free time, go out with your coworkers to go mountain biking by the beach side, or taking a hike to explore the rainforest. And just, yeah, I mean, as you see, he offers various trips. For that, you better check out his profile. For that, you need to be logged into our website. So if you have an account, very good, log in quickly. If not, you can do that very quickly with Google or Facebook as well. And we also post the link for his profile right now.
Yeah, I think it's already in the chat. Yeah, well, there's so many cool destinations that are for co-working.
Yeah.
Wow, I could plan my whole year now if I wanted to. If I could, I mean, I can, but anyways. But yeah, I think there are so many more, and I really need to think about where I go next. But yeah, last but not least, we would like to share our special tips with you. I have done, I think I counted today in the morning, like 8 co-working trips since September last year. So I would say I do have some useful tips, because with every trip you learn something new, that things that you should do and that you shouldn't do. So I think it's time to share some of these.
Yes, let's get started.
Yeah, so my first tip is definitely when you're planning your trip and when you communicate with potential coworkers, trip mates, it's really, really, really important to set the right expectations. That's just important because you want to make sure that nobody's disappointed in the end. For example, before I always go on a co-working trip, I always tell everybody, hey guys, I'm the trip leader, so I'm in charge of a lot of things, but I'm not going to be the one cooking, cleaning, or washing or whatever, because I just don't have time for this. And we're basically like a shared flat. Everybody's doing something, and we're just having a good time co-working from a different destination. This is just something that I learned from the past, that some people might expect that, and this is why set the right expectations, and then nobody's going to be disappointed.
Yeah, you're right, that expectations are always important. Another tip from me that's yeah, something you should definitely take into account is ask for discounts. Check if you can get like discounts when you're booking your accommodation, for example, because of, I mean, you are a bigger group and you want to stay there probably a longer time. So just ask your host or your landlord if there's something that you can do. And at the moment, it's also like, yeah, just super easy to negotiate. And there are a ton of deals outside on the internet. For other discounts, for example, car rentals for the weekend or something like that, you should also check out our partnership page that you can find in your JoinMyTrip profile, because yeah, we've been busy and just worked on a lot of deals and everything for you. So don't miss out on these.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to do 2 clicks on? Yes. Nice, perfect. So yeah, I think bargaining for discounts is my specialty. I definitely spend too much time tour guiding in Morocco, so this is why I have this gene inside of me that I always need to negotiate. But I really can recommend, because at the moment you can really get amazing deals. But yeah, besides this, another tip from my side: get in touch with other remote workers in the destination. So with other people from the local community. There are, for every destination, I mean, especially the ones that we just mentioned, you can find meetup groups, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, where you can just meet with other people that are also co-working and remote working, extend your network even more. And yeah, I think on the Algarve, I really met so many nice people that actually then joined other trips also here. So that's just really nice to, yeah, connect with other people. And yeah, I think, but Stella, you do have another tip for our listeners, don't you?
Indeed. My last tip would be something that's very active in my experience with coworkers, because as a fellow colleague of a coworker, it's very nice for us if you ensure a good working environment, because it's a difference if you rent like a house for a week with friends, or if you rent a house where you will work in for several weeks with several other people. So make sure you have enough space, enough tables, room to also like escape for important meetings and calls, or just to relax a bit. Make sure the Wi-Fi is good and accessible at every spot where you're needed. For that, we recommend to ask your host or your landlord to do an internet test for you and send it to you. And whenever the internet is not enough, there's always possibilities to like get extra internet by buying or bringing portable routers, and also buying a local SIM card. So talking about things to pack like SIM cards and routers, Anna, what else should people take into account when packing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that I don't know if you can see it. This is like my magic thing I would never travel without anymore. It's like a small router where you can put in a SIM card and you make sure that you have Wi-Fi everywhere. So even if the connection might not be that absolute best, then you can always make sure that with this one you have a good connection. Because I have realized that this is one of the biggest worries about any trip mate is joining my trips. Like, do we have internet? So this is how I always calm them down and make sure. So yeah, I think talking about remote working essentials, like the second screen is something that I would also never travel without. Noise canceling headphones, oh my gosh, never without. It's so helpful. And yeah, but last but not least, I think the most important is the commitment from your trip mates. I think we mentioned already in the beginning, when you're planning your co-working trip and you're in contact with potential trip mates, really make sure that you are committed, that they are committed by accepting them through JoinMyTrip. This way you make sure that nobody backs out and that you can cover all the costs and you're safe and sound. And also, of course, this way you make sure that you can have the support from the JoinMyTrip team in case, of course, we hope that nothing happens, and it hasn't been nothing happened until now, but that you have the support from the whole team, and in case there's something insecure happens.
Yeah, I mean, we are always there for you, literally. So yeah, I mean, these were just obviously a few of probably 1,000 tips that you might need, but these are definitely the most important ones for us. But if you want to learn more about co-working, Anna, you've prepared something, right?
Oh yeah, I've been every week in the past month. I have recorded a co-working show covering, I think, every single tiny part of a co-working trip, about how to convince your boss to go co-working, how to connect with other people in the destination, what to do on a co-working trip besides working, and all like those different types of like questions that you might have. So if you just are interested in a few more trips, check out my YouTube show. And of course, if you want, leave a like, subscribe, whatever you can do on YouTube. I'm always happy about that. So always
Nice.
good for some extra tips.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely watch every episode twice before I plan my own trip, just to make sure.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
No, never.
When you do that. Yeah, I mean, I can only recommend you to do so. So my last question for you guys is, what are you waiting for? So now that you have all the special tips and tricks about co-working, how to get started, how to do all this remote working, vacation, whatever you might call it, I can just tell you advice from my heart. If you're stuck at home, you don't feel good, you really want to escape, and you are working like on your laptop anyways, go out there. For me, of course, the first trip I was really excited and a bit nervous, but after this, it really, really changed my life. And I know this sounds like really crazy, but it actually is true. And I'm 100% sure that it will also change your life and your view on certain things. And it will just, push you and motivate you a lot. And in a second, you will also have the opportunity to ask us any questions you have about co-working, about JoinMyTrip, anything you want to know about the company or about working remotely. But before, I think, Stella, we would need the help of our listeners for a second, right?
We do. Feedback is super important for us. And just because we want to constantly improve our performance and our webinars for you, so it will just be as best as possible for you in the future. We prepared a short feedback form, and you could help us tremendously if you took 1 minute to fill that out. We'll post the link in the chat now, or it's already posted probably. Everyone that fills that out will get these slides from that webinar today. So to have it in a backlog for when you plan your own co-working trip. And as you can see on the slide, among all people who fill out the feedback form, you'll have the chance to win a voucher for 20 euros or $24 off of your next trip. So I think that's a really good deal for just this tiny bit.
I mean, definitely. I would spend that 1 minute to get that that little discount, or maybe to have the chance to win it. And of course, we do hope that we get good feedback from you guys and that you like the webinar. So we have prepared some more events. So we created a small webinar, like a webinar landing page where you can find all the info about our upcoming events. And for example, we have different webinars like the Travel Inspiration Finland webinar with our two colleagues, Marielle and Jasmine. They're both from Finland. So we do have some exclusive local knowledge there. Really looking forward to that one next week. Then, of course, also how to travel safely this summer, everything you need to know about how to make sure you can actually travel this summer. And another one that I'm really looking forward to because I lived there for a while. Travel Inspiration Greece. It's going to happen in 3 weeks. And we actually do have many more plans. I would take forever to share all of them, but if you're interested, just feel free to check out the link in the chat where you can sign up for all of them to make sure you secure your spot. Get in touch, whatever you need, send me an email, what any channel you would prefer, just hit us up. And we're happy to see your co-working trips online or to see your requests for our co-working trips. Can only recommend you. You can see my smiling face. Outside there's a big palm tree in the pool, so I really can't complain. And thanks so much for listening and for staying for so long. Whatever you, have an amazing evening, and maybe see you soon on one of my co-working trips. Who knows? Thank you so much, Stella, also for co-hosting this.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Maybe next time. Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.